I didn't.
I'm sorry, I forgot to start recording. Thank you.
That's okay. I didn't do either of those things. So I landed in the red. So when I went to Vegas this last November, I took Joe Solari's Business for Authors class, and I got up there and just started whining into the mic. You know, I'm like, oh, I got it. I'm in the red and I spent too much on advertising and whatnot. I took all the AMS classes from Brian Cohen. I took the Facebook. I did the BookBub ads. I did all that stuff, but I spent too much money. And I didn't earn it all back. So my business manager, who is also my husband, we did the taxes, and he just shook his head and he says, you know, it's going to take you 3 more titles just to get out of the red. Oh, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you on a budget for advertising and promotion. But in the meantime, he said, do all the free stuff that you can. Mm-hmm. And I just groaned, because it's a time consuming endeavor. You know that, you know, because you're trying to write. I'm trying to get titles up. So what I did was, after talking to several authors, friends, they, you know, I chunked up my day, and I've got 30 minutes for the social media and 30 minutes, 1 hour for newsletter swaps and 1 hour for this and 1 hour for that. And then the rest of the time I write. So far that's going okay. Sometimes though, when you're trying to navigate around these other websites, I'm slow at it, you know, like going into BookFunnel and figuring that out, and StoryOrigin, all that stuff. But anyway, long story short, don't mean to go on and on, but long story short, setting the budget is huge.
Okay.
So yeah, and moving forward, I'm not doing ads right now. I stopped all that stuff. So, and then what I did was to learn from other authors and get more visibility, I joined several anthologies, and I was invited into a series collaboration for a genre I've never written before, and I'm having a ball doing that. And through those authors, they're teaching me the strategies for marketing and promotion that I never knew. So
that's excellent.
Yeah, so that's been cool. Sorry to go on so long.
No, that's what we're here for. I am hoping that you come back with some of those other strategies that you're learning, and share those with us in months to come. In the chat, I did put, there is, Sammy, you're failing at what? I don't know what you're failing at, but she says that she's failing. I hope you're not failing. In the chat here, I have some book marketing YouTube video links, and there are 2 from Kindlepreneur. One has to do with how to use book promotion sites, and the other one is scheduling book promotion. And he says that it's very important to schedule it properly. So you might find those very helpful, and maybe those are things that you're already utilizing.
Actually, I'm not, and I need to tune into Dave Cheson's site more often. I just haven't been doing that. I mean, I've got all these tools, but it's just, now I'm overwhelmed with all the information. Do you ever get like that? There's so much, and you're like,
daily.
Oh my God.
I mean, I could give up writing and just learn everything about what you do after you write. That
I went through a burnout thing too. That's the other thing on all the promotion and whatnot. I hit it so hard and so fast. I kind of burned out on it by the end of last year. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out of here. And my husband's all, no, you don't. You're going to earn back that get out of the red first before you quit anything.
Right. So have you been doing newsletter swaps with other authors? Okay.
Yes, but I'm very careful with who, because I don't want to lose my readers. And on one of these anthologies, they were doing these buy swaps and things with dark romance and erotica. And my readers aren't that. Right. And I was scared that if I put that in my newsletter, I'd get all these unsubs, you know?
Right.
So I'm very careful who I swap with.
Well, you know, one idea for you might be query your readers as to who would be open to either of those other subgenres, and then separate those out, making a separate list. You know, if they're open to more, they can be on more than one list. And that way, when you do have an opportunity to do one of those swaps, you can do that without offending anybody else. That's
a good idea.
Yeah, I have 2 contemporaries out, and which I hope I never do contemporary again, because I find it harder than historical, even though historical involves some research. But one mistake that I made is I did not separate out my contemporary and historical newsletter list. And so when I do swaps with other authors, whether it's contemporary or historical, they get it all. And there's so much on my email list now, I'm not sure that it's worth trying to swap it out, separate it out. But that's definitely one thing that I learned a little bit late, was that you want to be more specific in your newsletter list so that you can target your people better. So Sammy, are you still there with us? We'd love to hear from you. I don't know if your chat comment was that your internet was failing. Oh, you're failing at advertising and selling books. Well, that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're writing and what you've done in the past?
Okay, I'm not great at talking at these things, so bear with me. I write paranormal romance. Is that better? My microphone was right up by the top of my head, sorry. I write paranormal romance. My new series is more into fantasy though. My first 3 books, I've just finished re-editing them because they seriously needed it, unfortunately. And I'm just not good at promoting myself and doing that side. I just physically hate it.
Yeah, what have you done in the past?
I do sorry, my daughter just walked past. I've got some Amazon ads running. I do sort of release parties and sort of takeovers and that kind of thing. I'm just about setting up a newsletter, which I'm not looking forward to doing that. And that's pretty much about it, really.
Okay. When it comes to newsletters, I will just give you my experience. I'm sure that everybody else can pipe in with their experience. It took me 10 years before I started a newsletter because I never knew what to say in my newsletters. I still struggle a little bit on what to say in my newsletters, although I have found out sharing information about myself. People like to know that. I think I have the most boring life in the world, but other people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you've done that. And I mean, those are the ones that I usually hear back from people. When I started the Facebook group, Romance Dreamweavers, that's when I started actively doing newsletter swaps with other authors. And I have gone from about 300 people on my newsletter list to, I think it's over 1,200. It might be over 1,500. I don't remember. And most of that, well, 2 times have been from joint contest giveaways, one that somebody else put on that I participated in, and then one that I put on through King Sumo. And we received a lot of new subscribers from that. But I would say about half of the new people I have on my list are from the newsletter swaps that I've done with other authors. And, you know, especially with the contest and giveaways, a lot of times you will get people on there and then, of course, some unsubscribe afterwards when they haven't won because they're not really serious about wanting to be on a list. They just want to win something. But the vast majority of the people stay, and then they go on to buy your books or you know, as you introduce other authors into your newsletter, it, you know, it just expands from there. And I have to say, I'm still not getting the income that I want, but it's increased quite significantly just from the newsletter respect, because I haven't been doing ads. I am going to, between now and next month, start working on some of those book promotion sites that is mentioned in the Kindlepreneur. And then I will report on that next month to see how that has gone. I understand your struggles, though, Sam.
I just learned.
You just what?
Yeah, I do too. Oh no, I just learned how to do the book funnel promos 2 days ago. I'm in a series collaboration with authors in Australia, England, Scotland, Ireland, and California. And we're doing a thing called rapid release, which I could never do on my own because I can't write that fast. But this strategy is each of us has a book and we're releasing it on the 5th of every month starting in June. And it's ongoing. And I think we're each signed up for 2 books and they're only 50 to 60K. So it's not like, you know, it's doable. Anyway, so the group promo on BookFunnel, I'm just getting into that. And I mean, I'd heard about it and I knew about it. I just hadn't invested the time. And so I did my first one and I can't believe how many more subscribers I'm getting. I also do the builders. The builders I did through an anthology I'm in. And I do the Fiction Atlas builder most of the time. And that one got me 300, 400 more subscribers just in a month. And it also got me up over the 1,000 mark in BookBub. So I always join those builders and they're not that expensive. They're only like 20, 25 bucks. And then you're expected to promote the giveaway. It's always premised on a giveaway. And you're expected to promote that on social media. You know, and that's fine. You just schedule it and do it. So,
can you put a link to the builder in the chat, because that's one I'm not familiar with. I was doing the prolific works, I think is what it's called, at $20 a month, and then you could join the promotions on there for giveaways. I did not find it worth the $20 a month to participate in that. I found I was giving away a lot of books and I was getting some subscribers, but $20 a month, I expect to get more than 20 subscribers. That's like $1 a subscriber. That I thought was rather expensive. So I haven't.
Okay, here's the Facebook group for Fiction Atlas Author Builders. And I just wait until there's one in my subgenre, I mean. Okay. Right now there's mystery thriller newsletter. There's a lot of paranormal, Sammy, a lot. So get on this community page.
Yeah, I will do.
Yeah. And, you know, I've done, I think, 2 of these so far. And for me, they've worked out great. Okay.
Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I know a few years ago, 2, 3, 4, I'm afraid how many years ago, I took your first 10,000 readers from Nick Stevenson. I think he's out of England. And with that, you became a member of the Dream Team that he has, where once a month they have a newsletter that go out. And that's a similar thing where you either advertise that you want to do a swap or you sign up for somebody else's swap in whatever genre that is appropriate. I did pay for his course, but the Dream Team membership goes on forever. And I can't remember what I paid for his course. But that was a good course. And he did talk about doing Amazon ads in there. He gave some really good, helpful ideas on how to find keywords. So I felt that was worth the money spent.
Yes.
And
have you ever taken Mark Dawson's course?
No, I haven't taken his.
It's pricey, but it's worth it because you get a lifetime access to all the courses, and he keeps adding on to them. You don't have to pay for the extras, and he keeps updating them.
And what is his name again?
Mark Dawson. I'll go get the link for you here.
Okay, great.
I met him at the Vegas 20 books.
I haven't gone to that one, and I'm down in New Mexico right now, although I spend a lot of time in Arizona, and then I have some relatives in Las Vegas. In fact, I have a brother in Las Vegas who keeps saying, come and stay with me, come and stay with me. So I think I'm going to attend that this next year.
Where in Arizona, Paula? I have a home in Payson.
Oh, okay. I know where Payson is because I used to go to Cottonwood, but
yeah.
I have a brother who lives in Fort Mojave, which is right next to Bullhead City.
Okay.
In fact, he's renting a house of his to a man whose primary house is in Payson, and he works in Las Vegas. He works in Las Vegas, rents the house in Fort Mojave, and has his major house in Payson. But I guess he's on the short curve to retirement, so it's worth it to him to do that. But it seems like a lot of driving to me.
Yeah, Vegas is 6 hours because I clocked it last time when we drove it. So
yeah. So you what, spend the winters down in Arizona and the summers up in Alaska? Yes.
We weren't down there that much this year. I don't know, a lot of COVID weirdness, but we're gonna be more and more. Yeah. Well, I've tried hooking up with the Arizona romance writers, but I'm not there long enough. So I hope to do that this next.
2 years ago, I live in my RV full time, and I have been traveling, although the last 7 months I've tried to stay in more one place. But one of my goals in doing a circumnavigation of the United States was to hook up with all the different Romance Writers of America chapters, and then they all went online. So, because I went in the middle of COVID. So
I signed up for the seasoned romance chapter, Age to Perfection, I think it was called. I was part of that for a while. That was fun.
Yeah. So, well, the next time you're down in Arizona, get in touch with me and maybe we can get together. That would be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's Mark Dawson. I just put it up for you guys.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay. So we have talked a little bit about free book promos, anthologies. How did you get connected with other authors for anthologies?
Well, I posted Margot's box sets out there. That's one of the sites. When I got to know the names of some of the other authors who do this, I mean, that's all they do. Mm-hmm. And then I started following them on Facebook, and then they'd post anthologies. If you do a search in Facebook on anthologies, you can get the different subgenres and genres for them. And I did that too. And, but I have to say a word of caution. I went for the shiny things last year, and I signed up I overextended myself. I think I signed up for a little too many. And so the first 3 months of this year, I mean, I was just writing like crazy.
Yeah.
I won't do that again. However, it's really good to get your short story skills sharpened. Or if you want to do a magnet, the beginning of that novel, you can do these as short novellas and then expand it into a novel later. You can do all kinds of things with these stories.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Your only commitment is 3 months, 120 days on Amazon, and then rights revert back to you. And then after that, you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good to know. I haven't ever done an anthology, mainly because from what I have seen in the past for people that have done them, was that you pretty much had to write to whatever everybody else wanted. And I have a tendency,
but I have
a tendency to want to write how I want to write, but then I get going on something, and a lot of times it doesn't go where I'm expecting it to go. So I might have to give that a try. That would be an interesting, you're right about sharpening the short story skills, because for me, it's always easier to write 90,000 words than it is 1,000. or 10,000.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. My first two books were too long. I know that now. And it just bogs you down too, and revision and everything else. And it takes your editors a long time to get through them. So I'm cutting back on my page counts from now on, because my sweet spot I found is like 50 to 65, maybe 70. My rom-coms with Wild Rose Press, those are 50 to 60. And then my fire books, I'm cutting those back to 70, 80.
Okay. I can't get less than 90. I think one of my books, I think, was 89, and I think my longest is 93, something like that. But they don't just wander either. I think they're about as tight as I can get them for saying what it is I want to say. Okay, so we talked about that. Then the other thing, I don't know, has anybody participated in the Kindle Vella?
I was going to, but I didn't.
Yeah, I have talked to some authors that have said it has really increased their income by doing that, and it forces them into a writing schedule that they might avoid otherwise. So that's something I'm starting to look into for myself, because I do find I work better if I have deadlines for myself. My self-imposed deadlines are too flexible. But if I have a deadline from another source, I have a tendency to stick with that a little bit more.
That's why I like these anthologies and collaborations, because you have the deadline and you have to budget out your calendar.
Yeah.
How does Vella actually work? Because I've heard about it, but I haven't taken much notice so far.
Well, I was just looking into it, and from talking to another author who uses it regularly, she says that basically what it is that you're writing either chapters or whatever it is that you're writing once a week. You're posting it once a week, and if you don't get it posted, you get reminders that you're supposed to get it posted. And she actually uses those for her first draft, which almost scares me, because my first drafts, I edit it heavily before I even send it to my editor. So, and sometimes when I'm going through my books as I'm writing, I will get halfway through a book and I realize, oh my gosh, I didn't know this about this character, and now I know it. And so I realize I have to go back and do some foreshadowing. But she said that most of the people who will read her first draft as she's writing it and posting it onto Vella do come back and buy the finished book. And they are very well aware that what they were reading in the first draft and what they're getting in the finished book are going to be completely different, or at least significantly different. And that's why they buy the book, is because they're interested in seeing how it changes. So that might be an interesting thing too. And my advice to myself and to everybody else is pick one thing this year that you're going to do that you haven't done before, such as joining an anthology, maybe 1 or 2, not 10, or trying out Vella for the year, seeing about getting one book done through Vella. Or if you're not brave enough to do either of those, or don't feel you have the time commitment to do either of those, commit to perhaps doing some of these book promotion sites. Some are free and some are paid, and just see where that takes you. So that's my advice, is always one thing at a time.
The other thing that you can do for free, I mean, I just signed up for a guest podcast on another site this morning. Do as many podcasts as you can fit into your schedule, because most people are looking for authors to interview. The Author's Porch, I would recommend CJ Ives Lopez. Wait, I'll write it down here for you.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, join her Facebook site, and then you can do Facebook Live interviews with her. She's amazing human being. And then the other thing is, I do takeovers. I just started doing that, and Level Up Romance with Dylan Crush is another romance page I follow, and I got involved with them from a Vegas meeting, and they do takeovers all the time, and they're always looking for authors to interview. And you know, if you can
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it helps to have an aspect to, or what am I trying to say? An angle to go into this with. Like mine is, I'm a former wildland firefighter. And I didn't even know that was an angle until somebody in an interview said that to me. And I went, oh, and then I got told, use that as a promotion angle. And it works. I mean, people love the fact that you lived what you're writing about.
Right.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how I sell the interviews.
Okay. And I've been invited to do takeovers, but I've never quite understood what you do in a takeover. And so I've shied away from those. And as far as an angle, I understand what you're talking about. My husband, my late husband, and I were members of a Mountain Man Black Powder shooting club for 20 some odd years. And I write historical romances in the early 1800s, which is pre-industrial age, which I pull a lot of the experiences I had from that club into my writing. You know, so I understand what you mean about that. I see.
Yeah, and
so
see,
tell
that's
us a little bit about. Tell us a little bit about these author takeovers on Facebook, because I don't understand them at all.
Oh gosh, you guys, it's so easy. You just sign up for a slot. It's usually 15 minutes, like 3:45 to 4 o'clock. And then during that time, the moderator will grant you, the admin will grant you a moderator for that site for that time. And you as moderator go in there during your 15 minutes. And you, what I do is I post 3 to 4 posts, and that's all you have to do, no more than that. And I do it 5 minutes apart, 4 or 5 minutes apart. And I prepare them ahead of time on, like in a Word document. I will insert my photo, which I make on BookBrush, you know, and then I do my little interesting blurb. I'm not a game player. A lot of folks like to do, let's play a game. I'm not into that. I can't, I don't do that. So what I do is I just go, hey, did you know that in Arizona, 531,000 acres burned last year in a wildland fire and da-da-da-da. So I try to do education and information with wildland fire with mine. People love that. I'm like, did you make your defensible space this spring? Did you cut 30 feet away from your house? And people go, oh my gosh, no, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you live out west mainly.
Yeah.
So I do stuff like that. And it's, you know, it's kind of fun. And you get that interaction with the reader.
Okay. Because where I was invited, it was like a day takeover. And it's like, what am I supposed to do for a whole day? I don't spend a whole day on Facebook.
No, I don't do that. I just do small amounts of time.
Yeah. Okay. But that exposes you to new potential readers, and that's great. Okay. And do you put your book links in there, your buy links?
Oh gosh, yeah. Because it's for you to promote yourself as well as you or help. But usually it's a takeover release party. So the main author, you throw them roses and kudos and everything else, and then you can support yourself or promote yourself. Okay. So that's the idea of it. You know, the other thing I do, shameless promotion. When I'm going out and about locally, I keep a quarter code on my phone. Like I went to the Lost City movie the other day, and I'm sitting in there because it's a romance and there's romance readers, and I went by myself. So I'm sitting next to these women who are all excited, and they like to read romance. I go, oh, I write these. And so boom, they put their phone up to my quarter code and they bought my books right there. And that happens a lot when I go to the doctor, the dentist and all that. And I just lift up my quarter code and they buy it right there on the spot.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I've always had them on the back of my books, but I've never thought about putting it on my phone.
Yeah, when you're tooling around Arizona, do
it's on the face of your phone that takes them right to Amazon to buy. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I just downloaded it on there and I keep it in my photo gallery. And so, yeah.
So do you use one for all of your books, or do you just have one that?
I just have one for the fire books, and since I'm writing other subgenres, I'm going to have to make quarter codes for my assassin series and then the rom-coms.
Okay, and I know we had a on the Spotlight on Romance a couple months ago, we had Frances Brown, and she said that one thing she does, because she travels quite a bit, that every time she's in a hotel or a restaurant or something like that, in the restroom, she leaves some business cards that, and she says she always notices that she gets more sales.
Yeah, I do. I leak them all over the place. I just kind of like a poker dealer in Vegas, you know, I'm just like, here, have a card.
Yeah. So, so there you go. So those are the ideas that we've had today. I'm going to be posting this in Romance Dreamweavers probably tomorrow, because I have a pretty busy day today. But I thank everybody for joining us, and feel free to, you know, always send me a text or a PM or whatever if you want to talk, or anything you want. If you have new releases coming out, or if you've had anything released within the last 12 months, feel free to post submit a post onto the Romance Dreamweavers, and we will get that approved and put out there.
Do you have certain days you do that? I know some pages are really restrictive on that. Like if I just did a pre-order last night, can I put that up?
Yeah, you can. The only restrictions that we have, because I do want to keep promotions to a minimal, you know, some Facebook pages, you've flipped through there and all they are is book promotions. So I want to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah.
So my only restrictions is that the release has to have been within the past 12 months, or in the case of a pre-release. That would be fine. Yeah. So.
Oh, thanks for this opportunity, Paul. I appreciate it.
Well, every month, please come back. We want to know more what everybody's doing, so that we can all share and do better. And anybody who's interested in doing a book swap, I can either do a contemporary or a historical. And other than that, we'd like to see you. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. We'll see you later. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.